here on Hannity.
I think we heard from the ghost of Christmas future this week, which is they're going to lose the Senate, so they better change the name of this game.
I never thought I'd heard those words coming out of Mr. Thrill-Up-His-Leg, Chris Matthews' mouth. But our great American panel, Brian Kilmeade, Kirsten Powers, Stephen Hayes, they're coming up next. Please stay with us as we can. All right, welcome back to Hannity. The midterm elections are just around the corner, and the Democrats' prospects for 2014 are, well, they're weakening by the day. For example, you know it's bad when one of the most liberal NBC News hosts of all time, he gets a thrill-up-his-leg. Mr. Obamagasm himself, Chris Matthews, has this to say about his pals in the election.
You got to get very tough, and that way you can probably have a chance of not taking a big loss in the House. But even then, given the turnout you talk about being low this time, it's going to be very hard to hold the Senate. I think the Senate goes. I think we heard from the ghost of Christmas future this week, which is they're going to lose the Senate, so they better change the name of this game.
All right, here with reaction, Fox and Friends co-host, author of the bestseller George Washington's Secret Six, Brian Kilmeade, Weekly Standard, Stephen Hayes, and Fox News political analyst Kirsten Powers. That's a pretty big acknowledgement.
What's that?
Well, you're not last.
No, I couldn't find my camera. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you borrowed Steve for a second.
Is that what you were doing?
I'll pretend I'm doing it.
Oh, all right. Okay. Camera here. You just look at us. We're friendly. This is a friendly group.
This is all new to me. Okay, I'm just trying to learn.
I know. You're hanging out in Washington now.
Yeah.
She left us. Here's what's interesting to me. Obama carried this district down in Florida twice. Alex Sink carried it in 2010 when she ran for governor. That's pretty interesting to me. Now, it is traditionally, historically, more of a Republican district, but this became about, you know, mend it, don't end it, no, repeal and replace. And it seemed like the message of repeal and replace really resonated, especially in the final 2 weeks.
Yeah, look, I think that even before the Obamacare debacle of the launch, most people were saying that Democrats were probably going to lose the Senate. Then you have the debacle. I think we all sort of went into this expecting that Democrats are going to do badly. This is a bellwether district. All the things that you said are true. I think it was expected to go Democratic, and so it's clearly a loss for Democrats. But I don't think it's a big surprise that the Senate is probably going to go. They're probably going to lose the Senate, and I think that's what people have been thinking for a while.
Didn't we have a Libertarian in this race? The Libertarian got nearly 5 percentage points.
5%.
Yeah, I don't think many of those would go to the Democrat in that race. There is a new poll out. Mary Landrieu's trailing by 9% in Louisiana among definite voters. The new poll, Hickman Analytics, Democrat polling organization, and it actually found Bill Cassidy 46, Landrieu 42 likely voters, a 9-point difference on those that are definitely going to vote. What is your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty striking finding. Remember, Louisiana has this sort of bizarre system where there could be a runoff, and that could factor in. But she's really in trouble. I mean, she has tried to defend her votes on Obamacare. She's tried to distance herself at the same time as she's continuing to embrace it. That's not going to be popular down in Louisiana.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I think this. It was very ironic. Before we came on here, it seemed Kathleen Sebelius is pushing Mary Landrieu is pushing Secretary of State Kerry to green light the XL pipeline. We have to have that done. So maybe 6 Democratic senators want the XL pipeline built. So who is President Obama going to go with? The environmentalists, or is he going to try to save the Senate for himself?
I don't know. That's a good. What do you think he'll do?
First of all, I don't think there's very much that he can do to save the Senate. I think it's pretty much
gone?
It's all baked in the cake already, and it's not just Obamacare. I would go for. I don't know what you think about this, but I think even if Obamacare had gone really well, I think that the Senate would still be in play. That the Obama has a very low approval rating that is not just about Obamacare. There are other things going on in the world that people are unhappy about, particularly the economy.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's part of a bad 2013. I mean, I think Obamacare is the main story, and one of the things coming out of Florida is that I think Republicans are going to be less likely to run away from Obamacare. You had this in 2012 where it was already a bad issue, not the issue that it is now. And before Florida 13, before those results, you had people saying, look, Republicans need to ease up on Obamacare. They can't push it too hard. That's crazy.
But it's also
they should be talking about Obamacare.
Steve, it hadn't happened yet.
No.
Now we're like living it. And on top of that, I thought it was interesting, David Axelrod said today, they should not run from Obamacare. You can. You should defend Obamacare. I'm not sure about that because David Axelrod sounds much like a guy who's not in the race anymore, is now a TV commentator to do it.
Let me play Nancy Pelosi's remarks. Then I'll go right to you, Kirsten, because she's saying House Democrats ought to be embracing Obamacare, which, by the way, good luck with that strategy. Watch this.
I'm very proud of our House Democrats and how they have not only embrace the Affordable Care Act because they helped create it, but how proud they are of it. I think that the Republicans are wasting their time using that as their electoral issue, and they will find that out.
Yeah, good luck listening to that. You're laughing.
Well, no, it's just completely disconnected from reality. Well, because the thing about Obamacare is it already wasn't very popular. And what the debacle of the rollout does is so let's just pretend that it had been gone really well and everyone had health insurance. You would have picked up some approval. You would have still had some people who didn't like Obamacare because they don't like Obamacare. But what the debacle shows is it feeds into this message about Obama and Democrats and the government not running properly. And if the government isn't functioning properly, and you're the people in power, it's just not going to work out well for you. It's not really liberalism. It's incompetence.
It is liberalism.
But no, look, President Obama came to office, and the promise of his presidency was restoring faith in government. He literally said that on the first day. He's got to restore faith in government, to be a benign power, to help people. It didn't work with the stimulus. It didn't work with cash for clunkers. You can go down the line. It's not working with Obamacare. This is what policy failure
real quick,
looks like.
we got to take a break.
You know what's so interesting about your show, Sean, is that usually the music gets louder, the show will go into break. You reach for the football. That's how I know to wrap things up. And by the way, how prepared is this guy? Look at those pages.
Come on, man.
Look at those notes.
I know.
This is a man that loves to
I do my work. I do my work.
I just have to pick that out.
You have that in the morning. You just hide it under your couch.
I am not allowed to have sports equipment on the set, but that's what happens when it's Hannity show.
It's 10 o'clock at night.
Running my show.
People are drinking at this time of night. It's okay. It helps.
We're drinking in the morning. I hate to tell you.
All right, coming up, we're going to have more with our great American panel. We'll get